everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode on the episode thread in the This Old Knit podcast group on Ravelry. So,
Honey, you want to be looking down.
okay. You're going to look down?
No, the fishes.
Oh, the fish is going to be looking down. Okay. Okay. So it has been 2 weeks since I podcast last. That seems to be my schedule for right now, and that's okay. So I have a few different things to show you today. I have a finished object. I have some new whips. Maybe? Yes, I do. I have whips, and then I have one acquisition that came. Oh, I actually had two, and I forgot to bring up the other one. They're both club items, so maybe I'll show the next one next time, and then I can spread them out a little bit. And just some administrative stuff up front. I wanted to mention that we're starting a new CAL starting today, June 1st, and it's going to go through the end of the month. And it is a Doctor Who CAL. So I am co-hosting with Vegan Jilly from the Knitting Broomstick podcast. So it is anything Doctor Who. Do not, Megwin, come on, cool. Oh, that's neat. I like that. Okay. There's no coming on camera, please.
I'll get close.
Okay. Alright, I will tell you when I'm ready for you. Okay. Thank you for this gift.
You're welcome.
Yep. Okay. And that's the third interruption. So one more time. I am co-hosting the Doctor Who CAL with Vegan Jilly from the Knitting Broomstick podcast. It is for the whole month of June, June 1st through June 30th. Whips are allowed, but the project needs to be finished by the end of June. So essentially, the rules are if it is something Doctor Who themed or something that reminds you of Doctor Who for some reason, then it can be entered. So some things that there could be, it could be a Doctor Who themed yarn. It could be a Doctor Who themed pattern. So like the bow ties are cool shawl, for example, or the I think there's bow ties are cool socks. There's some Weeping Angels socks that I'm looking at. Something that's the color blue for the TARDIS. So as long as you can tell me, if it's not obvious, the link to Doctor Who, if you can explain to me why in your entry, then that's fine. So I'm really excited about it. I have been watching Doctor Who since I was a little kid. I used to watch it on PBS, and it was the much older stuff, the original Doctor Who series. I think around like the third or fourth Doctor was when I started watching, and so I was very excited about the series reboot. And I'm a little bit behind now. I think I'm 2 seasons behind, just because it's a little bit harder now with the 2 kids and stuff to watch, because some of it's a little bit scary. So I don't watch it when they're awake, and then we have to pick when we're awake and the kids are not awake. We have to pick what show we want to watch, and we have a lot of them that we like that are not kid appropriate. So things like Walking Dead, Sherlock, Doctor Who, Defiance. So between all of those, you know, it's just not always Doctor Who. But I do love the show. I love the old and the new, and I'm really excited to do some fun fan knitting. So I didn't want to forget about that, because since it's already going to start by the time I've uploaded the video, I did start the chatter thread, and I will start an FO thread a little bit later. I don't imagine anybody will have FOs in the next day or two. If you do, kudos to you. Otherwise, no big deal. So let's go ahead and get started. So the only FO I have for this week, which is a big one, is my Miss Dashwood shawl. And I have a broken nail, so I'm going to be really careful the way I hold it, because I'm worried it's going to catch on my shawl. So here it is. Oh, it smells so good. I blocked it with some Tuft Woolens in her Vanilla Almond scent, which I totally love. So I was really worried that this was not going to be big enough, because when it was not blocked, it was like the size of a doll shawl. So I was like, is this going to be a shawl for Megwin? I'll be really upset if it is. But it blocked out very nicely, so it's like my entire wingspan plus like that much extra. I don't have the ends woven in yet because I literally just took it off the blocking boards, the blocking mats. Sorry. So I weave my ends in after I block, especially with this one because I very, very aggressively blocked it. So because of this pattern right here is quite tightly knit, that was the part that I was concerned about, because the border was nice and loose and I knew that that would block out very well, but this center part, the body, was knit in such a way that it was quite tight. So I really had to tug on it, but it blocked fine. I should have had faith in the pattern. So this is the Miss Dashwood shawl pattern by Paulina Popielek. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name. And it is knit out of Bas Platinum in the La Perla colorway. It took me about 1 2/3 of skeins to knit this. And what else? I knit it on size 4 US needles, and I really love it. So my plan is to wear this at the family reunion this summer with maybe like a nice dress, because we always go out to at least one nicer dinner, so then I'll have something nice to wear. I mean, it's going to be in the high summer, so it's probably not going to need anything super warm, but it'll be good on my shoulders. So there it is. I kind of liked it like this when I wore it yesterday in the mirror. But yeah, so I knit this for the Knitting Broomstick Jane Austen Cal, and I finished it with 2 days to spare. I even had time to block it, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, I love it. This yarn is so soft and it's very squishy and nice. It'll be kind of warm in the winter. It's fancy, but I think it can still go with a t-shirt too. It can go either way. It doesn't have to be super duper fancy. So yeah, there it is, my Miss Dashwood shawl. And that is my only finished object for this week. And like I said, I basically worked on that most of the month. As those of you who are returning viewers are well aware, I'm sure you're quite done seeing me knitting on cream colored yarn and one project. Because I'm done knitting on cream colored yarn and one project. I do love the finished object in the cream, but yeah, I was craving color near the end, so I'm glad that I'm done and ready to move on to some more colorful stuff. So then, couple of whips. I've sort of been just doing really basic stuff for over the weekend, because I finished the shawl, and then I think Joshua was going through a growth spurt. He did a lot of like nursing and sleeping this weekend. So yeah, he didn't really let me get a lot of knitting done because he wanted to be held while he was sleeping. So I did a lot of reading, actually. So I finished the book A Discovery of Witches, which is the first book in the All Souls trilogy. And thank you so much to Jilly for recommending it on her podcast, because I loved it. It was so great that I actually, as soon as I finished it, I was like, okay, I'm going out really quick, and I went to the library and I picked up the second book in the series, A Shadow of Night. And I am about 3/4 of the way done with this already, and I just picked it up on Saturday, late afternoon Saturday. Megwin has a little bit of a cold from kind of allergy flare-ups, so if you hear her coughing, she's in the next room. So, highly recommend that series if you haven't checked it out yet. But I did do a little bit of knitting on a couple of different things that I could easily pick up and put down. So the first thing I worked on was my sockhead hat. So I got maybe another inch done on it since last time I showed it. That side, and then that's what it looks like on the other side. And I actually really like how it is pooling, because if I want to, I can change up what the hat's going to look like, just whichever side I face forward. So my plan is to make it ribbing long enough that I can wear it like down completely over my ears, or that I can turn it up one time. So turn it up one time and still have it over my ears, or have it slouchy behind. I don't think I'll make it as slouchy as the pattern calls for, because it's got a lot of slouch. But I do want to have some slouchiness to it, so that if I wear my hair up like this, that I can still fit it in the hat, and I look like a weird cone head, and I don't really care when it's cold like that. It's really hot up here right now, so I have my hair up in a kind of crazy way because it's hot. And I can't have the fan in this room because it makes my voice get really weird and distorted. So anyway, this is knit out of Wool & Vine Yarns Blitzed Base in the Water Sprites colorway. So I'm slowly knitting up my Wool & Vine. And I'm really enjoying this knit. And like I said, it's just one of those that I pick up and put down whenever I feel like it. So it's a good between projects project. And it's in my bag that I made. And then the new cast on, it's not really a cast on yet, is knit out of this yarn, which I'm sure the camera will do no justice to, but it is the Malabrigo lace yarn in Azul Polita colorway. And it's just the most vibrant, beautiful blue. So I really love this yarn, and I've had it in my stash for about 2 years at this point. I got it originally to make a geodesic cardigan, which I think is another Hanafetic pattern. But I wasn't sure how the weird little ripples would look, because they're kind of just right here, and I thought they might emphasize my chest in not a good way. So I thought, hey, a featherweight would be great. It's a nice layering piece. I can also still use it kind of all year round. So I wear cardigans a lot, so it fits in really well with my aesthetic. And I already had the yarn. So this is a very tartusy blue. So this I'm calling my TARDIS cardigan. And this is one of the projects that I'm knitting for our knit-along. So here's what I've got right now. I'm gauge swatching because the gauge is a very loose, open gauge. But I want to make sure when I actually wash and block my swatch that I get it right, because it does kind of matter. Obviously it matters on this. So this is on a size 6 needle. And I like the fabric. I'm not sure if I will still like it when it's blocked. I'll have to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch on a 6, and then I'm going to do another piece of the swatch on a 5. Wash it, block it, and then see which one I like better. So hopefully I'll finish up this swatch tonight, and then I'll be able to start the cardigan this week. But I'm loving working with this yarn. It's so soft. It's like a little cloud, and it's very just so light because of the being lace weight. I think I'm going to really love this cardigan. And then the next thing I worked on, and then I kind of changed my mind on it, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it at this point. I was knitting the Espresso Macchiato socks out of Knit Picks Felici in the Tea Party colorway. So I got actually way further than this. I knit all the ribbing. I knit all the way up through, I think, the purple. And I didn't like this yarn with that pattern because it's doing a thing like on a certain stripe repeat, and because this one has this mint but then it also has a lighter mint, it's really hard to tell the difference between those two. And then because it's an odd number of stripes, or maybe because it's an even number of stripes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 stripes, but somehow I just couldn't figure out when I wanted to work the pattern and have the amount of repeats between it. It just wasn't working in my brain. So I'm probably still going to keep the cuff because it's twisted rib and it's a 64 stitch sock, so it'll be fine and I can come back to it. So I probably will just knit this as vanilla socks at some other point, but I'll probably repurpose those needles for another project. I do want to make that sock pattern though, so I think what I'm going to do is I am going to cast on with a different yarn. I just went off camera, I'm sorry. So I'm thinking I'm either going to do my turtle pearl yarn, which is this one. Oh, it's come unskein, poor thing. This is the City Girl colorway in the turtle pearl yarn striped turtle toes. So I might do it out of this, or I might do them out of my post yarn, which is in the colorway Christmas Island. And this one is only a 4 striper. So that one I could do every other stripe for the pattern. Or if the stripes are thinner, which I don't really know how this one's going to stripe. But if the stripes are thinner, then I might be able to do just at one particular color and do just that one particular color all throughout the sock. So I'm going to play around with both of those because I do want to make socks out of both of these, so I don't mind caking them up, and then I'll just see which one I like better. But it'll probably be one of these two for the espresso macchiato. And I do want to do those because I want to finish the Coffee with Cece cowl this year, and if I want to do that, I need to get on it for getting some socks done because it is 6 pair of socks and a shawl, and it's already June tomorrow. So if I want to complete all that in what remains of the year, and counting in that I usually do a sweater for each kid, I want to do some Christmas knitting, like that doesn't leave me with a lot of time. So anyway, that is what happened to those socks. But I did work on them. I knit like half a leg and then I decided I didn't like it because I'm fickle like that. I did not do anything on my 10 stitch twist blanket or on my other socks for my husband, just because, like I said, I was working on the shawl. So that's what's in this bag. I just wanted to check and see if I did anything. So, the other thing that I'm thinking about knitting for the cowl, and this shawl is totally in my way for getting stuff out. So the other thing I'm thinking about knitting is the Bow Ties Are Cool shawl. And I really like the Weeping Angel socks or the Bow Ties Are Cool socks. The Bow Ties Are Cool socks and the Weeping Angel socks are free patterns on Ravelry. The Weeping Angel one might not be anymore. I got it when I was in like a different cowl. Yes, can you put your lid on your glue stick, please?
I have a big question.
Okay. Should I pause my thing?
Um,
How big of a question is it?
Once I saw Crafty Carol, and she weaved a couple of these bands together to make a little charm that looked like a flower with another girl, which I forget her name.
Okay.
And she used a stick to put all the rubber bands on. And you should really watch it because you want to learn how to do it.
Okay.
How to do that.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen stuff like that before.
Then can you do a snowflake?
Oh, I don't know if I can do a snowflake, but I've seen crafts with putting those little bands together.
Can you do a flower?
Maybe another time, sure. I'd have to, maybe we can look it up. We'll do some research and see what we can figure out.
What if we can do a fly?
Okay, maybe we can. Who knows?
Gobble, gobble.
Sky's the limit.
Or we can make turkeys. Go! Go, go!
So, I was also thinking about doing the Bow Ties Are Cool shawl. And I know I had these two kind of in my head for doing with the Table Mountain shawl, but I really like this color combination, and it might be really good for a Doctor Who themed shawl. These are slightly different weights. Like I've said before, the sparkle is a little bit thinner, but I think if I was working lace, it probably wouldn't matter too much. I mean, they're not that far off from each other. It'd just be like putting together any two fingering weight yarns. Yeah, but I think I might do that too. I'm being completely over ambitious. There's no way I'm going to finish a featherweight cardigan, a shawl, and 2 pairs of socks in 1 month. That's crazy. It's crazy sauce. That's not going to happen. Instead, I'll have half finished of all of those at the end of the month, but that's okay. I'll have cool projects that I like. Whatevs. And I didn't show this last time, but I did do a little bit more on my 10-stitch blanket. So I just did this little strip right here. Not very much, but I always love sharing my 10-stitch blanket. It's probably going to go into a little bit of hibernation right now because it's starting to get too hot to really work on it. But it will be there waiting for me when it starts to get cool. And that's why I started the 10-stitch twist. So I'd have a little portable version of a 10-stitch pattern, and I could still share it with you. But yeah, I've been kind of more into the shawl knitting recently. And I'm sure I will get back into blanket knitting soon enough. So yeah, that's, I think, all of my ideas for what I might do for the cow. And that's all the stuff I've been working on for whips. So then acquisitions, I just have one, and it is the last installment of the Gory Details Yarn Club from Wool and Vine Yarns. And this month's installment is actually in a base of hers that I've never tried before. I didn't even know she still carried a singles base, actually. But it is on her singles base, or it's on a single. It's the Nouveau base, and the colorway is Fig Bash. And I love this colorway. It is so, so pretty, and there's so much going on with it. So it has some really cool red speckles on it, and I was thinking it would be really pretty with a red, but I also think it would be really pretty with a peach or a dark chocolate brown. So it has some really pretty grays, like that. Some greenish gray. Obviously these caramely colors up here. It has some pink in there. Those red speckles like I talked about. It's just a very cool color. I've just never seen anything like it. And Kristen is making a pair of socks out of hers. I love them. The only thing I'm worried about is that I don't think that those would hold up as socks for me. So I was like, oh, they're so pretty. But yeah, I just don't think they would stand up to the kind of wear that I put on my socks. So it will probably be a shawl or maybe a cowl if I wanted to just do one skein. It's really curly at the bottom. Kind of weird. I don't know yet what it wants to be. I will think about it a little bit more. You know, it would be really pretty with the glazed pecan colorway in the Madeline Tosh yarn. That would be a really nice combination. I'm really into the 2-color combining right now, if you couldn't tell. So that is that, and then I got my mini skein shipment from No Makers, and like I said, I'll show that to you next time because I don't have it upstairs with me right now. I left it downstairs. So that is all I have for yarny stuff this week. Just in general, like I said, I had a pretty good weekend. I'm trying to think what I even did the weekend before. I think we went like out to lunch. I might be just a week out from when I did my last podcast. You know, adding in a day or two for it being Tuesday. But maybe I did only do my podcast a week ago. Or I lost track of a whole weekend. I don't know. I wouldn't put that past me. But yeah, this last weekend was Memorial Day weekend, so we just kind of hung out around the house. We didn't do a lot. Megwin and I were trapped inside because the cottonwood decided to start shedding. And it has tons and tons of these fluffy, cottony seeds. And when it's coming down, it looks like it's snowing outside. It's so much cottonwood. So that was happening this weekend. So basically Friday and Saturday and part of Sunday, it was just intensely dropping these seeds. And I am very allergic to them. And we found out that Megan is too. So she was playing outside on Friday and just kind of had a pretty bad allergic reaction. So she said her throat was scratchy and she coughed a whole bunch overnight, and I think kind of a secondary cold set in after that. So she seems to be back to herself today, but she had a few days in there that were a little bit rough. So she kind of hung out in the bedroom and watched shows on tablet or read books. She's doing a lot of sitting in her bed and reading, and we're going to the library a ton, so we just get her however many books she wants and she just plows through them. So it's really great. We're very, very proud of her and happy that she's doing some independent reading, which is nice. So she just kind of kept it low key and hung out, and like I said, Joshua wanted to be held a lot, so I did a lot of reading too. I didn't do much screen time at all. Didn't really watch anything. I think I watched maybe 2 episodes of Gilmore Girls the whole 3-day weekend. And then Monday was nicer, and it had rained pretty hard on Sunday, so we were able to go outside for a while because it dampened all of the seeds down. So we bought a little, like those little plastic kid pools so that the kids could just wade around in it. So they played in there with some of their pool toys, and we did some swinging. We mowed a little bit out in the yard. My husband mowed in the garden. And that is pretty much what we did. Pretty boring. But it was very nice. I like those kinds of weekends. I think they're very relaxing and recharging, and I like just hanging out quietly with my family. That's my ideal thing. So we're hoping to go camping here in a couple of weeks. fingers crossed that nothing makes our trips not work out again. So I have the next several planned because we're going to try to go at least once a month, maybe twice a month, while Megwin is off of school, because once she starts school up again, it's harder to leave early on Friday, which we like to leave early on Friday and get out there with enough time to make a fire and cook dinner before it gets dark. So as long as we can still do that, we can make the longer weekend things work. So I don't really have any other things to share. We still have our spring into summer cow going on. I still haven't heard from the second winner of the Bowling Vine Yarns cow, who was 8 Kathy, and I'm going to check just to make sure that that's her Ravelry name. So I need her to send me a PM on Ravelry, and then I will get you connected with Kristen to claim your prize. And like I said, if I don't hear from her within 4 weeks, I will draw yet another winner. Sorry, I gotta get into the group. Yep, 8 Kathy. She made a Wildesmeer shawl in a beautiful purple. Very nice. So, please contact me and I will get you hooked up. And I think that is all I have for this week. So thank you everybody for joining me for another week. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there, and I am so happy that you have chosen to spend some of your wonderful time with me. So until next time, I will talk to you soon. Alright, bye-bye.